Today is not a day to celebrate, but the arrest of Richard M. Allen of Delphi on 2 counts of murder is sure a major step in leading to the conclusion of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation.
What is up, guys? Happy Thursday night. We had cookie baking, you know, all the necessities around the holidays. So hope you guys are doing well. What's up, mods, members, subscribers? What's good? Okay. So either you're going to love me or you're going to hate me. But I'm a numbers person, and what is up, Hot Ham? I deep dived the F out of this probable cause. So I want to show you guys something. We're going to start off with Delphi. Let me do something here. Again, what's good, everybody? All right. The CPS building is no longer there, but it was, you know, right in here. Okay. And also, the way that you could travel has changed because of the Hoosier Heartland Highway. So a way that you could travel right now would not necessarily be a way that you could have traveled back then, which is really important. So, first things first, the most important piece of digital evidence is going to come at the Hoosier Harvest Store, which is what they used in doing all of their, like, all the photos. Everything came from Hoosier Harvest Store. And so I'm going to show you guys what that is. Oopsies. Let's back up a little bit. It's going to be on 300. It's right here. This is going to matter because I want you guys to see where right here is my little, yeah, okay. Right here is where they entered. Libby and Abby were dropped off right here. Here's where the surveillance is, okay? And then right here this is Freedom Bridge. Okay. And right here was the old building, CPS building, right here. And then you could just like walk this path. This like path like that. You park there, and then you make like, this is the path you would come into, and this right here is where Freedom Bridge is. Now, you would continue to walk, and this is going to take you then on the Monon High Bridge Trail, which then, okay, you're going to take, this is the path that he would have walked to then get to, here's the entrance where they got dropped off at. But you have to walk all the way along here, all the way to right here, and then this is where the bridge is. Okay, so a lot of people will walk right to the bridge and they'll turn around. So they walk over the bridge, and right here at what the probable cause is saying, that at 2:13, the phone sees this bridge guy, and that's the last known outgoing is at 2:13. So let's back up though. I'm starting at the beginning. Just spent the last day or two watching your old posts. Love your channel. Thank you. Clickety click clack clack. Thank you. I'm gonna do my best to like go back and forth to where chat is and everything, but there's a couple things I really want to point out, and it's gonna have to do with like the timing of stuff. So now this is saying if Richard Allen came from his house, but he could have came from anywhere, you know. That's not in here. They didn't put that in here. So this is what we're gonna go with. Something that I think is interesting is the Hoosier Harvest Store video surveillance. Because I wanted to know, did they catch the girls on camera? Meaning they want to go based off of, I've sat in a murder trial before where they use surveillance, and they're like, they ask you flat out, hey, is that your vehicle? And then you say yes or no. And then, okay, does that look like your vehicle? Was that the time that you're around passing there? Okay, yeah. So that's how they do stuff. So they would have like showed these people this video, and after they would have got their stories, then they would have looked at this camera, then they would have taken a time frame from like this time to this time. Okay, so, and I'm only going to look at this from a defense standpoint, because obviously this is the prosecution standpoint. Now remember, depending on which way the girls would have came, would they've had an opportunity to pass even that camera? Meaning, you know, was the sister seen going there, dropping them off, and then leaving? And what you get from the probable cause is this. You get that based on, it says witness statements, so through interviews, review of electronic records, and review of video at the Hoosier Harvest Store, investigators believe victim 1 and victim 2 were dropped off across from the Mears farm at 1:49 p.m. on February 13th, 2017 by, and then it's redacted. So, well, this 1:49 time, where are you getting that from? Are you getting that from a cell phone call? Are you getting that from, did you see that vehicle? It says the Mears farm is located on the north side of County Road 300, which I just zoomed in. I'll zoom in again. Near the entrance to the trails. And then it says a video from victim 2's phone showed at 2:13 p.m. Victim 1 and victim 2 encountered a male subject. Okay. So it kind of goes away from, it's not saying that they saw this on camera. So could it be that it was a phone call? That's what they're gearing up, the 1:49 time. So I went ahead and I just we're going to go with it, 1:49 p.m. But we're putting a question mark as to where that's actually coming from. Now, we go to Richard Allen. And what it says here is that investigators discovered Richard Allen owned 2 vehicles in 2017, a 2016 black Ford Focus, and that's the one he was driving that day. Investigators observed a vehicle that resembled Allen's 2016 Ford Focus on the Hoosier Harvestor video at 1:27 p.m., traveling westbound on CR 300 north in front of the Hoosier Harvestor, which basically corroborated his statements of that he arrived around 1:30. So let's take a look at something. Now, if he's seen on camera at 1:27, I want you guys to check this out. I'm going to back up a little bit. First, I'm going to show you where he lives. Okay. This is where a homie lived. Oopsies. Right here. Okay. Now, the way that it would take you right now, okay, this one's his house, the 1967. Okay. As you can see on that street, there's only like 7 houses, by the way. And Cody Patty lived at this house for a hot second. Well, they were like all living there on the same, but that was way back in the beginning. So the way that it would have you leaving is making a left, but that's not the way that I believe he went. And I'll explain why. Because if in fact you go this way, you're going on a road that wasn't available to go down yet. And if you came this way, you're not going to be able to be seen on that camera. Let me show you why. So here's the camera. In order for this camera to pick you up, you have to be coming from the right part of your screen. Okay? And because if you go this way, you can't do this right now, but it has you nowhere near that camera. So I think that this is really important. Here's your camera. You have to pass that in order to get picked up. So I do believe that he was coming west, 300 north. He was coming, and he would have to pass it like so. So coming from the right part of your screen, traveling on the west north, or the west 300 north, and you're going to pass that Hoosier Harvestor right there, and then continue on right past it, right around the bend, and then right up here, where there's like an old little dust spot. That's where it used to be. So you would pull in there. Okay? Now, and you're saying, well, how did he do that? Very simple. He went the other way. He made a right. And he's going to come this way. And I'm going to show you guys something. I'm not sure if other channels have ever talked about this. If they have, awesome. And he's going to take west 200 north. Okay? And you're going to take that. Now, this is what's kind of crazy. If he was to make a left on north 6 125 west, if you take this right here, this is one of those private drives that brings you right, check this out. This is that private drive that you kind of see when you're like, there's the bridge, you know, when the videos that I've been showing, and you see like that path. Yeah, that's what that path is, by the way. That's one of the private drives, and it would have you right there. And then it takes you to a house, one of the private houses. Okay. We need the old map. Well, I'm going to show people how it would work regardless of the map, because I just know what it was like before, so that's the best I can give you. So he stayed on west 200 north, kept on going to north 300 west. You make a left. Okay? And you're going to take north 300 west all the way to west 300 north. And then you make a left. Okay? And then you come this way. I didn't go far enough down. Hold on one second. I didn't go far enough down. He's just basically coming the opposite way. Hold on one second. He's coming like this. You're going to make a right instead of making this left to like go wrap around to get on that. You're going to make a right out of his driveway. And you're going to come down like this. And that's your street right there. You're coming along, which is the 300 north. Like that. That's the only way possible that he could have went in order to get on that camera. Okay, now that's if that is his vehicle. So he had to travel that way. What is up, Tammy Wells? What is up? The Idaho 4 will be after this part. So those of you guys that are asking. So he has to go the other way. Otherwise, if he's traveling any other way, you're not going to be able to be on the camera. That's just impossible. Now, it says that it catches him there at 127. Now, this is what I think is interesting. Now, he has from 127, okay, he has to park his vehicle, get out of his vehicle, then he has to walk to the Freedom Bridge, and then from the Freedom Bridge, he has to then walk from there to the Monon High Bridge. And the reason that he has to do it in that order is because of the way that they're going with the probable cause. Because the probable cause has these witnesses that say that they saw him. So, for example, the first witnesses that say that they saw him are the witnesses that were there a little bit earlier than him. And they had taken a picture at 126. And they said after they took this picture of this bench, then that's when they ran into Alan over by the Freedom Bridge. So, and that pretty much coincides with the whole, like, 1:30. Well, I don't know how fast of a walker he is or anything like that, but Sure. Awesome. That works. Then in order for when the girls got dropped off, so I'm going to back up and go to remember, this is your camera. And the girls came in right here. Okay. So it is possible that they would have had to be dropped off coming this way, and the person would have had to leave going that way to stay completely off of this camera unless it catches your entrance, which I don't know because it doesn't really kind of say that in the probable cause. Though I'm just being logical to think that this camera here is only going to catch you if you come across in front of the building. So if when they dropped off the girls, if they came from just this way and they left that way, you're not going to see anything. But what you would see is all the commotion afterwards, meaning from all the interviews that I've read, Becky Patty came both ways. They said that Libby could have walked home this way or that way, so they took both ways. Oh, you're welcome for the warm welcome there, Tammy Wells. Again, hello to everybody. So we're going to talk about the commotion that would have been going on, meaning if that camera has all of this stuff that they put in this probable cause, that means that camera is likely to have, depending on, again, which way Derek went, he'd be on camera coming there. His vehicle would pass. Becky's would pass. Mike's would pass. Who else was like? So you're going to see all of that. Unless they were able to completely avoid that. But by all accounts, I believe that Becky Patty made a point to say that she went both ways, depending on, the way that Libby could have went home. So that's going to be interesting to me, is to see all these times and to see if any of the cameras picking this up. Now, Richard Allen has to walk from the Freedom Bridge to basically, I would like to say maybe right at the beginning of the Monon High Bridge, to then be able to see the girls, walk past. But I just want everybody to know this right now. I believe that if this was premeditated, did they have insider information that the girls were planning on crossing the bridge that day? Because do these girls get abducted if they don't cross the bridge? Do you think that they were abducted because, they crossed the bridge? Why didn't Richard Allen snatch up the three other people that he saw around the Freedom Bridge? It was out in the open too much. Because what if Abby and Libby don't cross the bridge? Are they abducted? Okay, so, and remember this, that Abby and Libby don't get dropped off until 1:49. Okay? Do you guys know what a small window that is? Dropped off at 1:49. Okay? And to hear the prosecutors say that Richard Allen wasn't the only one, that's just wow to me when you're talking about this window now. 1:49 to 2:13. And that's 2:13. That's them almost across the bridge part of where the water would be. It's a lot. So 24 minutes. They were there for 24 minutes if you go off of the 1:49 time, which again, I don't know where they're getting that from. Okay, now we're going to back it up to, they said that they see a vehicle that matches his description at 127 traveling the westbound. Then this is where I think it gets odd. You have basically right when he gets out of his vehicle, because remember, like, these girls from the Freedom Bridge, they said they saw him, but they give multiple descriptions. One person says that somebody's dressed in all black, and then the other person says that variations of blue and taller than around 5'10". But see, eyewitnesses with stuff like that can be off. So here we go. They took their photographs from their phones, and these juvenile females had taken, they were at the southeast edge of the trail at 12:43, so nobody's there yet. And then they were east of the Freedom Bridge at 1:26, and they walked right across the former railroad overpass after 1:26, but before 1:46. And then that's when they observed him, would be between 1:26 and 1:46, based on photographs that they had taken. Okay. So now that's the window, because the girls basically had left at that point. After 1:46, they're gone. And I'm guessing that they're saying that it had to be before 1:46 because I bet you they're on camera. So that might even be a shorter window, because if they're using the camera of a Hoosier Harvest Store, maybe it's even 1:42. They said they walked the entirety of the trail and observed only one person, an adult male. So then I have to come back and ask you guys this question. These people are saying that they only observed one male. But when you read on further in this probable cause, they said there's other people there, but it was after 2:13, and nobody saw that guy's description after 2:13. But before 2:13, these two juvenile females, possibly three, they see him by the Freedom Bridge, and then he has to then walk from there. So it is a possibility that once he started to walk, that while he was walking, the girls could have kind of intersected, even before getting to the bridge. But this is we're talking about boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. All of this has to happen like that. 24 minutes. Within 24 minutes of those two girls getting dropped off there, there's no more of them on social media. So then they took another person, and she was the one that walked basically to the Monon High Bridge, and she was one of the walkers that once she gets to the bridge, she just turns around and then she walks her path back. And this is the witness that said that when she did this, that she had seen the description of the bridge guy standing on the platform. And then basically when she had gotten to the bridge, she sees him on the platform, like standing out one of like the, you guys know, like the bridge, and then you have like those outer platforms to the right or to the left, depending on what side. And she had seen him there, but then when she turns around and starts to walk back, that's when she saw then what she believes is victim 1 and victim 2. She saw 2 females, younger. And that's what she believes, is that he was on the plank, and when she did her walk and she stopped and she turned around and began to walk back, because she did not cross, she saw Richard Allen, she's basically saying, and then she saw the 2 girls, okay? So then check this out. So if Richard Allen is already on the bridge and the girls aren't to the bridge yet, then Richard Allen was never behind them yet, right? So based off of what this woman's test, like what she said she saw, he's already at the bridge. The girls aren't there yet. And when I say that he's already at the bridge, let me make sure that this stands correct, because the platform would matter. She said it was... Okay. She advised that he was standing on the first platform. Approximately 50 feet away from her. She advised that that's when she got to the bridge and that she turned around and continued to walk. She advised approximately halfway between the bridge and the parking area that's when she observed victim 1 and victim 2. So now we even have a little bit more where we can say that the woman observed. So he's on the first plank. He's just standing there on the first platform. She sees him 50 feet away. Then she turns around because she's going to walk back to where her vehicle is. And halfway between the bridge where it starts to go over the water to her vehicle, which is the same place that those girls got dropped off at, halfway between there, that's where she saw them. So when the girls would have gotten to the bridge, he's in front of them unless he walks back and is like, I don't know, hiding or like, I mean, like what, waiting for them so that they like go past first. So he just observed this and was like, okay, well, let's just see if they cross the bridge, because if they cross the bridge, we have them trapped, because that's where we have the help, I guess you could say, because that's where it's more isolated. So, but what if they don't cross the bridge? You guys think that they would have been abducted still? Now, mind you, this is multiple people they're saying. Why they think that? Probably because no DNA. Now you have to take into account their phones, or her phone. So remember when she took the first, what was it? When she took the picture of, when Libby took the picture of Abby and posted that, Could you see Richard Allen anywhere in the back? So do you think that he was up in front? And then when they got to the end of the bridge, that's when he kind of popped out and was like down the hill. But by all accounts, by what this woman is saying in here, is that Richard Allen is in front of them and he's out on the bridge. So how do they get it to the point that he's behind them? Because he's in front of them, by all accounts. And this is what they're going to go off of in court. Yeah, like he was off in front of them, and then he went off and went on his hike. You know what I'm saying? He went on his hike. He was in front of them. And by all accounts, the witness is saying that he went off in front, or that he was in front. And by all means, by the picture, he's not in the picture, right? But then they start rolling. So look, whatever's on that film is going to matter. But let's go back to this now. So Richard Allen has them at 2:13. And you have this video, this harvest store has this surveillance. How does Richard Allen get back to his vehicle? It's not caught on that camera. And he gets in his vehicle. And then which way does he leave? Because they don't say it again. That then we saw another description of the vehicle that he drove at this time. That's not in here. How many vehicles do you think we're going to see on this? Like, this is what the defense gets. Okay, here's the video. Well, I can tell you what the first thing I'm asking for is, oh, no. Like, I want the whole day. I don't want your little clippity-clips. I want the whole thing. I want, shit, I may even want the day before. I want all the day, the day before, the day of, the day after. Do you even think that that's going to be available? Like, what if they didn't save it? Because everything else is all... he puts himself there. Now, who's the guy that's dressed in all black? I mean, dressed in all black... black boots, dressed in all black. I mean, don't you think that's a lot different than a guy that, like, if you saw the bridge guy, you'd be like, yeah, no, that's not who I saw at all. Like, I saw this dude was, like, dressed in all black and had his face covered. Unless, did Richard Allen have a different pair of clothes that he changed into? Doesn't it say his vehicle is seen leaving at 2:28 p.m.? No. What it says is that it's seen at all those times. Because I think what they're doing is they're going off of those witnesses that were saying things like, oh, when I passed by, and I was at the CPS building, there was that car that was, like, parked weird. It was, like, backed in. It looked like it was hiding itself. So you have, like, three different, so what you have here is you have, it says, he described it as possibly being a smart car. It says blank vehicle is seen leaving at 2:28 p.m. That's the person, that's somebody else. That's that's not his vehicle. His vehicle is seen by the three different people at the three different times. They said they were passing by on, like, old Route 25 and stuff like that. End of first paragraph. Yeah, end of first paragraph on page 4. Yeah, if you read it, it's what it says is, he observed a purple PT Cruiser or a small, SUV type of vehicle parked on the south side of the old CPS building. He stated it appeared as if it was backed in as to conceal the license plate of the vehicle. And then like they smudged out something to say something, both drew diagrams, and I'm guessing the two people that they're talking to get this information. And now these are just on eyewitness accounts. Blank both drew diagrams of where they saw the vehicle parked, and their diagrams, generally matched as to the area the vehicle was parked and the manner in which it was parked. Blank advised that he remembered seeing a smaller, dark-colored car parked at the old CPS building. He described it as possibly being like a smart car. Blank vehicle is seen leaving at 2:28 p.m. on the Hoosier. Like, that's just like in there and just like, what, like, we have no idea, but that's definitely not Alan's car. So it's just putting it there at like 2:10, 2:14, and 2:28. Now, you're going to have to go back through and listen and go off of the time that you think, but you got Derek says that he goes there to get the girls, and they, aren't there. So then, he's calling her, and then he makes other phone calls, like calling his mom, calling his daughter, whether they were calls or text or whatever. But then the next thing you know, they're asking people, nobody knows anything, and it's just going to be interesting to see, like, there should be, like, a lot of car activity starting to happen. So it'll be interesting to see if that's there, what time that's at. Unless, like I said, the only way that doesn't happen is if you are traveling, if you never go across I'm going to pull it up right here. This is your camera. And the only way that you don't ever cross that is if you're staying on this side. Because you could enter here, you could leave here, if that's the only way that you've been doing it. My guess, though, is that that's not going to be the case. So then you come to the last part, which is this person, who is... which I think is just wild. Okay, so a vehicle matching the description of his 2016 Ford Focus is seen at or around 2:10 p.m., 2:14, and 2:28 p.m. At the former CPS building. Now, the way that those are seen, guys, those are eyewitness accounts seeing that. And then through his own admissions, Richard Allen walked the trails and eventually hiked to the bridge and walked out onto the bridge. A male subject matching Richard Allen's description was not seen on the trail after 2:13 p.m. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something, and you guys aren't going to like it, but how long do you think they've had this information for? The whole time. The whole time they've had this. Nothing in here there's nothing in here that would be new that they didn't have after going through surveillance. And there's nothing. There's nothing. So what guy puts himself literally at the crime scene at the time of the murders, and says, like, I was there 1:30 to 3:30? Did they ever even ask him, which way'd you go? Which way'd you come back? Where were you coming from? Did you go straight home? You weren't working that day. Where were you working? Like, no type of questions, right? I mean, at least if those questions are there, they're not in any of this. But then you get to this last part where it's like, okay, Now we have somebody that says, I saw somebody muddy and bloody. Investigators spoke with blank, who stated that she was traveling east on 300 North on February 13th and observed a male subject walking west. Walking west. On the north side of 300 North, okay? And away from the Mona High Bridge, advised that the male subject was wearing a blue colored jacket, blue jeans, and was muddy and bloody. She further stated that it appeared he had gotten into a fight. Investigators were able to determine from watching the video from the Hoosier Hardware Store that blank was traveling at approximately 3:57 p.m. And I'm going to tell you how they're pegging that. This is the same thing that happened in the Sheldon Jeter Jr. case. Okay. First of all, you better make sure that the video is accurate with the times. The next thing would be is, you're like, oh, is this your vehicle? Does this look like your vehicle? Well, you could be like seeing like a dot. Okay. So I can't wait to see what the vehicles, like what the cameras are looking like. 3:57. He's just walking muddy and bloody on that road 300. Like, are you, like, what? And you've had all of this in so my guess is, because then the question is, well, why isn't he seen on the camera walking? Well, because I'm going to show you why. This is what they're going to say. They're going to say that Richard Allen, let me make this bigger. Okay, so here's the bridge. Okay, they're right here, like around 2:13. Guys down the hill. Now I'm going to take them somewhere else, or I'm going to take them to where some random people are. And I'm going to remember, like, how to get to that location because other people are going to be there. So I'm going to walk along here, then just cross the water over here, and it's going to be up over here somewhere. 2:13. Now it turns into what? 2:30, 2:40. I mean, then 2 hours. And then you're looking at 4:30, and now I'm going to walk up through the cemetery and along this way 300, or am I going to remember, nobody saw him again, nobody saw his description again, so he couldn't have been anywhere in here. I mean, weren't they looking for the girls? So, but while everybody was looking, this was at 3:57. Well, Derek said he was there at 3:15, 3:30. I mean, and he's just going to, and Derek doesn't see him. Nobody sees him. This camera doesn't see him. Because how is he going to get to his vehicle that's over here? He would have to walk. I mean, how is he getting past this camera? Oh, he just stayed in the woods? Well, then how did that person see him? When did he pop out? Oh, he popped out probably like right here. Oh, and just this random person saw him? I'm just... Ooh. I feel like it doesn't matter if he knew he was being recorded or not. if this was some, premeditated, multiple people, you're going to put yourself there. You're going to put yourself there. Not believing that muddy, bloody witness, somebody says. Jacqueline says, I don't think Richard knew Libby was recording him on her phone. What does everyone else think? I'm going to tell you a little something that I think about the phones. I mean, nowadays they will tell you, you better grab somebody's phone. Otherwise, that's like what they say, like 101 with crimes, like phones and IDs. You take people's phones and their IDs. So I bet you there's a little mass confusion going around, like, where are these girls' cell phones? Well, Abby didn't have one, but a lot of people are going to be like, she has to have a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? Unless you know these girls that well, that you knew that she didn't have one. When did they interview the muddy, bloody witness? From all accounts, they had all this. That's what I'm saying. Like, nothing in here is new except for one day on October 13th, they decided to call up Richard Allen and ask him if they could talk to him. Andrea says, I am no psychic, but I see a second lawsuit coming up against Carroll County. He even described what he was wearing, Match BG. I don't get it. Yeah, well, and they were saying that the first time that they talked to him, he didn't talk about that or something like that. Well, they redacted whoever even he talked to the first time, so I think that's interesting as well. Everybody needs to be redacted. So you've had this, and you've had this guy, right? Which we all know. They've had this person. They just didn't like come across like, oh, let's go back to the drawing board. And on October 13th, they went back and like, okay, let's look at anybody that's like called in or like said that they were there or whatever. All right, well, here we go. Here's Richard Allen. Let's give him a call again and see what's up. No, like you would have been watching him. You'd have been watching him and watching him and watching him, right? Because you don't know that the gun and the bullet, even if they match, I that's junk science. That's not gonna fly. Sorry, but it's not. There's gonna be a witness there's gonna be an expert witness on the opposite side saying that it doesn't match. That's how that's gonna go. But hey, let's talk to this Richard Allen guy again. So in the second time that you talked to him, which would only been the second time, which is just like, wow. Like, wouldn't you talk to these people like multiple times to see if their story changed at all over the 5.5 years? You don't what the hell are you guys doing? Unless your Anthony Schatz was totally like a red herring that it messed up your investigation to the point that you went off on this, the whole sex ring, right? You went that way with it, right? The pedophiles. But then if you come back and you're like, okay, hey, Anthony Schatz, like he was messaging everybody, let's go back to the drawing board just from the beginning. So what, you never had a follow-up with any of these people before any of that, though? What are you people doing? It was not like there was hundreds of people that were, saying that they were there that day. So I just can't believe that. That just tells me that none of these people were followed up with. Jeez. So You clearly believe that there's multiple people because of the crime scene, in my opinion. And if there's DNA, okay, and it doesn't match Richard Allen's, but there is DNA, but it doesn't match him. Okay, maybe there's DNA underneath the fingernails of one of the girls, okay, and it does not match him. So that's why you're saying there's multiple people, or at least another person, right? So you have this Richard Allen guy that, you don't just bring him in right away. Like, you're going to follow him a little bit. Aren't you going to see, like, what he's up to, what he's into? But you don't even know at that point that the DNA doesn't match Richard Allen, because Richard Allen's DNA isn't even in the system. But now how easy would it be if you have somebody like Richard Allen putting himself there and saying all these things? How easy would it be to frame somebody like that? I hope tentacles are on page 8. No, I was just told there's just signatures on page 8. Lana, have you looked into Jordan? No, I was looking into this time, all the time frames that they have on this, and this is just not going to fly. You're supposed to pick up the girls at 3:15. Isn't it crazy how the person that says they saw the Muddy and Bloodies at 3:57? Is it just all really convenient time frames? No, but I'll write down the name. He never saw it coming. Why wouldn't DNA be on a loaded bullet discharged from a gun? Well, it wasn't discharged from the gun. It was, bullets are very hard to pick up fingerprints on. That's something that's really hard to pick up fingerprints, especially, shell casings anyways. I learned that at my last murder trial. I have not talked about the Idaho 4. That's coming up next. Yeah. You would think that these slimy little bullets we could catch some prints, but after talking with, I think it always depends on the bullet, but this is all confusing and doesn't add up. Yeah, it's confusing. I just think that you had all of this. You've had everything that's in this probable cause. You've had this the whole time. So why'd you pull the trigger on October 13th to call up Richard Allen? Why? Why then? Because we got a tip that we followed Richard Allen around, and he went hunting one day, and I saw what type of gun he had, and it was just like, wait, he has what type of gun? And it's a 40. Oh wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had this. But clearly they didn't think it was enough, right? And they never knew that the bullet would match up, right? But how about this? Screw all of that. Why wouldn't you? 5.5 years and you didn't talk to him again? Think about everybody else that they would have interviewed. Did they talk to them? Have they talked to them? How about did they re-talk to these people again? Did they call in these witnesses and say, hey, we're going to show you some pictures. Tell me if any of these people, that you recognize any of these people. And throw Richard Allen's picture in there somehow. Get it off of his driver's license picture. Did they do anything like that? Election and lawsuit. How many people in Delphi have that type of a gun? Mystical says, spot on, Lana. Thanks, Mystical. You know what I think about when I hear when I say Mystical? I think of like the rapper Mystical, but yeah. And then you guys have to go back to this. You guys, he just literally day of. I mean, you'd have to ask. You have to actually ask because there's no date on here with when was this. It just says this. Investigators reviewing prior tips encountered a tip narrative from an officer. It says from an officer who interviewed Richard Allen in 2017. Doesn't say the date, doesn't say the time. Mr. Allen was on the trail between 13:30 and 15:30. He parked at the old Farm Bureau building and walked to the New Freedom Bridge. While at the New Freedom Bridge, he saw 3 females. He noted one was taller and had brown or black hair. He did not remember description, nor did he speak with them. He walked from the Freedom Bridge to the High Bridge. He did not see anybody, although he stated he was watching a stock ticker on his phone as he walked. He stated there were vehicles parked at the High Bridge trailhead, however, did not pay attention to them. Now, think about that. Think about this, right? Hold on one second. He stated there were vehicles parked at the High Bridge trailhead. Well, like, when? Were they parked there, like, when he left? When he arrived? Like, I mean, what kind of notes are these? I mean, what the F? However, did not pay attention to them. He did not take any photos or videos. And then his cell phone did not list an IMEI, but did have the following. And so, like, he gave up his cell phone. It's like a VIN number. A potential follow-up information. Who were the 3 girls walking in the area of Freedom Bridge? That's what the follow-up's going to be about? Are you kidding me? How about why the hell was he there during the day? Does he work? Like, no offense, buddy, but, you know, it's a Monday. During the day, did you not have work? I mean, what the And you wonder why this case is as how it is. You wonder why people are in prison that are wrongfully convicted. I mean, this is just... Oh, yeah, here, maybe we should follow up with this guy. He said he was there. Oh, yeah, let's just give him a call. October 13th, 2022. All right, I'll give him a call. Hey, how you doing there, Mr. Allen? I was wondering if I could talk to you. Okay, yeah, sure, what's up? Yeah, you said that you were at the High Bridge the day that the girls went missing. I was just wondering if we can go over some of the stuff that, you know, see if you remembered anything else. Sure, yeah, what do you want to know? So this is what he said this time. Well, he advised he was on the trail. He said he saw juvenile girls on the trail east of the Freedom Bridge. And I want to know if this is recorded, because I know how these cops operate. But I would love to hear the recorded. You know, this one's definitely going to be recorded, the one in 2022. So he advised he was on the trails. He stated that he saw the juvenile girls on the trails east of the Freedom Bridge, and then he went on to the High Bridge. Richard Allen further stated he went out onto the Moon High Bridge to watch the fish. Later in his statement, he said he walked out to the first platform. I mean, kudos to him for remembering that. I mean, But maybe that's not even something that he said. Like I said, I would love to know if this was recorded. He said he then walked back, okay, guys, and sat on a bench on the trail and then left. Well, where's the bench at that he would have sat on? You guys, we don't even know if he was working at CVS then. Has that been proven fact? I'd love to know what bench he was, He stated he parked his car on the side of the old building. He told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans and a blue or black jacket. I mean, come on. He advised he may have been wearing some type of head covering as well. He further claimed he saw no one else except for the juvenile girls he saw east of the Freedom Bridge. He told investigators that he owns firearms and they are at his home. Richard M. Allen's wife, Kathy, also spoke to investigators. So again, anybody that's out there saying that they were not being cooperative, that's just not true. Kathy confirmed that Richard did have guns and knives at the residence. She also stated that Richard still owns that blue jacket, she believes. So, boom. All right, well, you own knives and guns. You were there. All right, search warrant. Here we go. On October 13th, 2022, investigators executed a search warrant of Richard Allen's residence, among other items. So, it wasn't like it was totally out of the blue that they just came and here's a search warrant. They talked to him. They took stuff. And then they got stuff expedited between October 14th and October 19th. So, now, I'm going to say something, and you can do what you want with it, but if anybody ever planned on having this be like a frame job, or somebody has to go down for this or whatever, it's kind of crazy, but to have all of this information, literally 5.5 years ago, at the max, I would say 5, if they, 6 months to investigate or whatever, to sit on this, was that part of the plan? Because this guy's putting himself right there. I can tell you with 99% certainty, the voice Libby recorded, guys down the hill, was Richard Allen, someone saying. To me, it's like, how does nobody go back? This guy puts himself on the bridge during the time frame, and all it would take for you to do is when you pull up his name, it comes back and you see his picture on his driver's license and you see how tall he is and that he is short like that. I mean, I have no idea what these people in Indiana are doing, but so if they would just play the audio without it being messed with, I believe there's like a gun being cocked. That's why they did it the way that they did it. But if they would just play it however it is, especially since the probable cause is out and there's already the mention of like the gun, just play the tape. Yeah, like there's just, you would have been able to see he owned guns. This to me, guys, remember everybody's rushing there because nobody heard from the girls. And this guy is just going to walk along 300 bloody and muddy. Like, what? And then after he walks all bloody and muddy, he then goes to the police and tells them that he was there. Do you understand? If he never makes that call in and tells them that he's there, he's like never caught. If he in fact is the guy. Think about that. You could have that voice and you can have... That's not what caught Richard Allen. Can you believe that? The voice nor the video caught Richard Allen. It's crazy. Richard Allen picking up the phone and calling and reporting that he was there. That's what caught Richard Allen. If in fact Richard Allen's the guy. Puts himself there after he just walked. And then people are going to say, well, they thought that he was on camera. And I just want to know the dates. Did he call after the video came out? Did he call before the video came out? And I think that's going to be important. And if he did it before, that's interesting. Did he report to they redact it. All it says in here, guys, is that he talked to an officer. That's all how they say it. Is that they just say, investigators reviewing prior tips encountered a tip, and they don't even say when. Investigators reviewing prior tips encountered a tip narrative from an officer who interviewed Richard M. Allen in 2017. Well, all those questions are going to come out in court. Who was reviewing these tips? When did you review it? How long were you surveilling Mr. Allen? Did you witness my client, when you went into his house, did you find anything? Stuff like that. Killers love putting themselves onto the investigation. Yes, it is. If you're a lone wolf, in my opinion. But in a, multiple man job, no, I disagree. No, nobody in a multiple man job. And that's what they're, basically saying. And the way that they made the wording here is at the end that they don't believe that Richard Allen killed the girls. Pretty much in the last, when they say, investigators believe that after the victims were murdered, it doesn't say that after Richard Allen murdered them. He just says investigators believe that after the victims were murdered, Richard Allen returned to his vehicle by walking down CR 300 North. Investigators believe he was seen by blank walking back to his vehicle on 300 North with his clothes that were muddy and bloody. And I just call flat out bullshit. That's just, not only are you going to walk back muddy and bloody, then you're going to call it in on a multiple man job that you were there. You got to be kidding me. That makes no sense. Not strong enough evidence. Love and light. Not strong enough evidence to do this to the family's very weak, muddy, and bloody. How'd he get that way, get DNA right then? Yeah, it's... I'm sorry, but if there was DNA, I think that it would be in this probable cause. I don't believe that there's DNA. And if I was his attorneys, I would be going off of the Ron Logan probable cause, and I would be heavily that FBI agent that's saying that basically was the scene was staged. That's another word for moved. So could that location be a dump site? And that's the route I'd be going. Yes, there's a bench. Richard Allen was a lookout. Girls were taken under bridge and tortured, murdered, and filmed. Sorry, I believe this is true. God rest their souls. I hope to God that this is said by Shelley. Yeah, I mean, if Richard Allen was a lookout, then how did he get muddy and bloody? Was he looking out from the bridge? Also, I just think it's crazy that the girls were literally dropped off and that they were literally, it was, you know, all these reports that there were so many people out there that day. Well, we have one witness that saw the girls. And that's even if those, even, that's if she's accurate. But it's like, you know how easy it would be to see this? And if somebody was to have this and say, oh, there was a guy there that day. Who was it? Who's the guy? You know? And if this got into the wrong hands and somebody knew about this. So, it's just, the girls deserve justice, and when you're talking about multiple people, I do believe that multiple people are involved. I hope that this is the right guy for the sake of the family, but something doesn't seem right. But all I have to say is that the video did not catch Richard Allen, and neither did the voice. That's not why Richard Allen is in handcuffs to this day. It's because he called in and said he was there. Yeah, I would want them all too. I believe that it was multiple people, absolutely. What the motive is, though, and I just... Ugh. So... But yeah, that is truly, so yep, not all of it has to be there, just enough to secure what they would have needed in that situation. I just find it hard to believe that you're doing a job with other people. Because that's basically what they're saying. And that you would then call and put yourself there. Yeah, think about that. Think about that. Think about that. When you read that he admitted to being dressed in the same clothes as Bridge Guy, I kind of felt my brain fall out. Yikes. Yeah, I mean, you had this 5.5 years ago. You know, I would love to know what kind of tips they were getting. And it's all going to come, I mean, do you know how many pages this discovery is going to be for these lawyers? Woo. I mean, I don't know, maybe not with the work that they've done. But I mean, what path were they going down where something like this would just totally be like missed? So, but yeah, today's talk about that part of the live was all about the locations and where that camera was, and just to show people that the only way that you're going to be able to be seen on that camera is you have to pass it. And you're going to have to like you can't avoid that camera actually. And so like, that's the other thing. If this was planned, like you didn't know there was a camera there. Like what the hell's going on? Like think about that. But none of these other people were on the camera with any of their vehicles. You guys, none of that makes any sense. All right. If you're going to plan something like this, you can't possibly, I don't know. It's just sad. 5 years of discovery, but Allen's multiple statement won't be more than 5 pages. 5 rich pages. It's more like 5.5 years. Going on 6. I find it hard to believe doing a multiple person job that you're going to put yourself there by calling. Because you want to know what those other people are going to say? What the hell are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, those guys, no way. The only thing I can think of is that if his wife was like, hey, honey, that's you. You know what I mean? And that's why he had to call him, because, like, his wife was, like, saying that to him. But I don't see you doing a multiple person job and thinking that you're going to call in. And then when the guys find this out, I don't know. Nobody has said what Richard Allen was wearing when he made his statement on the 13th. And also nobody has said that they found and talked to the girls. Richard Allen says he saw. Yeah, actually, Joey, it's in here. Richard Allen on the 13th when he talked to them. Or are you talking about on the 13th of February? It's basically saying they didn't ask him that. They didn't ask him what he was wearing on the 13th. We don't even know if he was interviewed on the 13th. That's not in the report. Could have been on the 14th. You know? Nothing, RE, this case gets by Carter, yet BG is arrested out of the blue while Carter is on vacation in Europe. That's just so weird to me, says Pisces. Yeah, I agree, Ellen. Yep. You know, that's all I want to see too. That the right people, and all of them pay for what happened. It's disgusting. Lana, did Richard Allen call law enforcement and say he was there before or after BG? Yep, they have not said that. They have not released that. Alex said he put himself on this before he knew he was videotaped. Well, we'll find out. Yep, put them all away. And soon. Yeah, he said he saw 3 girls. Yeah, Richard Allen said he saw 3 girls. Yep. There's multiple people. I'm very curious to see the other people because I'm telling you, Richard Allen's circle is so small. Like, when I say so small, it'll be very interesting who, you know, I wonder if he has any drug habits, but clickety clackety 75. The sad thing is the large majority of people haven't looked as deeply into this as yourself and the rest of us crime junkies. They won't consider how law enforcement has had this info this long. You guys, just close your eyes for a second. Just think about this. We're talking about somebody basically calling up the police and basically saying, hey, come get me. I did this. Hey, I was there between 1:30 and 3:30. I was hiking. I was at both bridges. I saw 3 girls. I saw them at the Freedom Bridge. I was just hiking around. I didn't really see anything else. What time do you think you were around the, High Bridge? I don't know, like, probably in between that sometime. I mean, can you imagine getting that phone call? And then he gives his phone information on his phone. Like, they would have, like, what the fuck? I don't think too many people were calling in and saying that is my point. Like, how many people called in and said something like that? Well, let me guess. 0. 1 person. So how does this not get... Anyways, we're going to move on to the Idaho Four. We're going to move on to the Idaho Four. Talk about wild. Talk about sad. Did you guys see that, the press, or the candle, the vigil there was yesterday? I think that was the first that we got to see Maddie's dad. That was super sad. They did not put they just said it was an officer. They did not say what officer. I'm sorry, but I don't care what officer it was. Something like that being so huge, that doesn't just fall through the cracks. I don't care if you would have told, your neighbor. Your neighbor would have called that in. That's just as crazy. Thanks, Shelly. Appreciate your kind words. God. Thank you. Appreciate that. Oh. All right. Let me switch this over here. Get us in a different gear. Thank you. Objection overruled. Appreciate that. Hold on, I'm sharing a video. Let's see.
For example use only. This is a preview file. For example use only.
In the 2A in Idaho sports power rankings, and a big part of that is their newest top receiver, Kyle Fry.
2-3 family!
Grangeville football is ready to go undefeated again in regular season play. And the big reason is wide receiver and free safety Kyle Fry.
Extremely athletic. He's got great speed. And it goes right back to he has an edge. He wants to catch that ball.
Clam.
And he wants to run somebody over. He wants to score. He wants that ball.
I always felt like I was the one looking up to them, and I was. So now I have to be, one of the seniors that kids look up to me.
Fry says it's now his time to step into the spotlight.
Be a good leader, do everything I can, set a good example by always being in the weight room, following through with what I'm saying and with my actions.
But the lessons he learned from his predecessors didn't end there.
I learned from them to just really not try to have any fear. Don't let things get to your head. It won't hurt tomorrow. That's something we always said. So play every play to the best of your ability. And
stuff, which deservingly so. This kid's just good.
Coach Jeff Adams says he's coached a lot of kids in his years, and Fry is just as skilled as any of them.
If you throw the ball in that area, he's going to catch it. When he catches it, you better look out. He'll cut your heart out. He'll go right at you. He wants to beat you bad.
Fry only had...
He's going to catch it. When he catches it, you better look out. He'll cut your heart out. He'll go right at you. He wants to beat you bad.
Fry only had...
You better look out. He'll cut your heart out. He'll go right at you. He wants to beat you bad.
Fry only had...
You better look out. He'll cut your heart out. He'll go right at you. He wants to beat you.
This is a preview file. For example, use only.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about it. Greek life, lots of drinking, brotherhood, sisterhood. I paid attention to the words that were said yesterday. Again, it was super sad. It's hard to, these parents, I mean, I give them so much credit. I mean, they just kind of got tossed into the, limelight. They don't have to be doing any of this, and they're doing, like, interviews and, during, like, the worst time of their lives. So all these parents just, they earned my respect. I mean, it's just, the last thing you want to do, I would think, is be, around people that you don't even know and in the public eye. So, but then at the same time, they want to keep their kids in the limelight so that they can find a killer or killers. So, well, the dad last night did make an announcement that the two girls, Maddie and Kaylee, were in the same bed. I don't know if that was a slip. I don't know if they wanted to keep that hush, but that kind of came out. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate that. So we did find out that they were in the same bed. Now, something I want you guys to think about, they're trying to backpedal on the whole, like, target. This was a targeted attack. The only thing that I would see when someone wants to say it's target attack is based on everybody being killed a certain way, and then one of the people weren't. One of the people were killed, and they, let's say everybody was stabbed in, like, the stomach or, the torso area, and then somebody is stabbed in, like, the face and, like, their throat sliced. But nobody else had that. That's where, authorities could maybe think that that'd be a target, the person that was killed differently. Oh, thank you there, Love and Light. Appreciate that. And again, thank you to Tarantula Clan and Lisa for the super chat, super stickers. Awesome. Very kind. So now, if you're talking about a targeted attack, again, it would be the crime scene's telling you that in some type of way. Otherwise, why are you even mentioning that? Why are you even saying that? That's crazy to even say. But they've been saying weird things, so whatever. But let's look at a 3-level house. The girls on the bottom, okay? They weren't, I don't know the blood, if there's blood down there, if they tried to get in those rooms. But something that I found, again, I can only go off of, there's allegedly 3:30 in the morning, that one of the roommates was still up at 3:30 in the morning, and one of the roommates that was still alive, and that she had posted to Instagram 2 different pictures at 3:33 a.m. I don't know if you guys have seen these. Let me see if I can pull them up. Okay, yeah, here we go. Okay, so there's 2 pictures. But yeah, November 13th at 3:33 a.m. Well, I think I'd have some questions about this. They were supposed to be sleeping. So I don't know if this is true or not. I know that it's being cut off a certain way as to not show other people and their names. Again, there was 2 pictures posted, and they were at 3:33 a.m. It is true at 3:01 there was a 911 call. Have you guys seen the 911 calls? I mean, talk about some weird stuff. I didn't mean to laugh, but the one thing I read, it was like somebody was like in their vehicle. They wouldn't get out. They were moaning. And then these officers are like, yeah, no report was taken. Hardly any reports were taken. Like, they just show up and like, no reports taken, no report, no report. Again, so this is a picture from not that night, but there was 2 different pictures posted, and this was at 3:33 a.m. And this is just from like a different like night out. Don't know if you guys saw that. But this is one of the Dylan, one of the surviving roommates, had posted this, and there was two pictures posted at 3:33 a.m. Now, there's a Venmo, okay, which I will show, but there's a Venmo that, so with the fraternities and the sororities, you have, obviously you have friends of friends, and then you have like so like, let's say like, oh, my brother's in this frat, so I'm like his sister, right? Well, but I'm friends with like these other girls because like I'm in this sorority. So you have a lot of like intertwined friendships because of, a friend of a friend, or a lot of siblings. So anyway, you slice and dice it, like you can know somebody because of other people. And something that's really big with colleges and then younger kids in general is like to pay each other in Venmo. And then you can write something, as to what it's going for. But there is a 3:30. I'm sorry. It was that afternoon, and I can pull it up. It was at 2:53 in the afternoon. And it said in its like, caption, where you're going to be like, what you're writing the monies for. It said for 3:30 a.m. 3:30 a.m. And it would be something that's not a big deal until you see that the person deleted it. Like, why are you going around deleting your Venmos? So is that the 2 surviving? That's one of the 2, I think. I don't know if it's both of them. I thought that was Kaylee. You know what? Now that you say that might be the 2 surviving girls. I know it's the one on the right. That's her. And that's from 3:33 a.m. That was posted. But the thing that doesn't make sense, well, at least I would have a bunch of questions if I was a police officer, is I thought you were sleeping at 1. No, I just went to my room at 1. Okay, well, at 3:30, oh yeah, I posted enough. I was just in my room, you know what I mean? So here we go. Again, you have to like, I'm not trying to dox kids or anything like that, but Molly paid Liz. I'm going to go ahead and put this up on the screen. Here we go. Let me just send this. Okay, here we go. I'll stop showing this. Okay. Here we go. Molly Gray paid Liz, and this was public. So like, I don't feel like this was a public post from Venmo on November 12th at 2:45 in the afternoon. Molly paid Liz. Now that last name is going to come up because that is the sister of Jake Kadovich. And the subtitle or the title for what this is being paid for is 3:30 a.m. And this was written on November 12th, so like that's Saturday at 2:45. I'm paying you for 3:30 a.m. You guys see that? Again, these are the sisters of people that are good friends with the victims. Who are those two? Well, in the picture, one of them was one of the roommates. On this, though, this is two people that are vandals. And it's sisters of... this is just the Greek life. But... let me break it down more. Okay, so now this girl went ahead and deleted all of her posts with Venmo for the past 14 days. Okay, so this one and then 14 days back. But somebody took some screenshots and so before they could delete it. But this is from that Saturday at 2:45 p.m. You have somebody that's paying somebody, and normally you're going to put something like, okay, for my haircut, or for going, half of groceries, or like you'll see like someone says like the electric bill or whatever their portion is for, like you use this type of payment system to pay your roommates for like splitting bills, and oh hey, for my portion of like dinner last night. Well, for whatever reason, on November 12th, Molly is paying Liz, however much money, whatever it is, for something at 3:30 a.m. So you guys can take it however you want. Now, who are these people? These people, okay, are related to the case in terms of they're Idaho students, and they're sisters of people. Now, think about this. I wouldn't think anything of this. It could be people being stupid. But when somebody writes something like that on November 12th, prior to this ever even happening, okay? So, like, that Saturday at 2:45. Yeah, could it be for the previous 3:30? It sure can. But I don't think anybody was murdered at 3:30 the previous day. The point being is that this doesn't look good, okay? This doesn't look good at all. And then you go and you delete it. And you delete your 14 previous days. But we were able to at least grab this. Now, who are these people and why are they important? Well, that last name, Kadovich, you know how there's like 3 Jakes involved, 3 Jacks? That's one of them. Jack Kadovich was just initiated September 2022. His sister got paid on Venmo from Molly the same morning as the murders. And now that's been deleted. Kyle was in the same fraternity, and he charged, that's the person that you saw at the beginning of the little video. Kyle charged Ethan, on November 3rd for drinks. Ethan and Xana paid him on Venmo a week prior to the murders, and he is friends with Jack K. Jack K is Molly's brother. Molly paid Liz for $330. Okay. The deleting is the evidence, Atlanta, if that makes sense. Yes, exactly. Now check this out. I'll show you guys something else. Again, if you go and you look at Molly's stuff now, literally you can't see any. It says like the last time it happened that they paid each other anything was 14 days ago. So everything has been deleted. Now, going back to the outfits, the one roommate posted on Instagram 2 different pictures at 3:33 a.m. when I was thinking that she was asleep. This is, I think, some of the stuff that I'm showing you guys here tonight. This is what I think the family is struggling with, if you want my opinion. Is, seeing stuff like this. I know that it would bother me if I was a parent. Let me do something really quick and I'll show you the other one. Okay, here. This is the, okay, that's the incident at 3:01. Officer requested a case report taken. I should scroll through them all. Like, I was reading, some of them are like crazy. Like, I laughed at a couple of them because it was just wild. Someone blaring loud music and shooting off a shotgun. Officers responded, no report. Wait, what? Someone blaring loud music and shooting off a shotgun. That was going on that night. Controlled substance problem. Officer requested a case report taken. 143. 301. Theft. I think this was the identity theft. 338. Theft. You want to know what's interesting is that if you want to keep the cops busy, you call them with like bogus shit to get them over somewhere else. Just a little FYI. So, again, 301, 338. One second. Sigma rule number 1. Eliminate the biggest threat in the room. Like, what? I thought it was interesting that they said that it was the Cornutal residential complex. Why they're calling it that. But yeah. That was a year prior to the murders. About the Sigma rule. Jeremiah Johnson, look out, man. Look at you. Thank you so much, buddy. That's awesome. Thank you. Let me bring up this other picture for you guys. Hold on one second. Here we go. There's the other one. November 13th at 3:33 a.m. Again, thank you so much there, Jeremiah. You're the bomb. All right, let me take a look at this chat here. Sorry. Again, thank you so much, Jeremiah. You're such a sweetheart. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone needs to be cleared, but I mean, obviously this was, it's bad enough when you have one person getting murdered. Here you have 4, and you have to deal with 4, sets of parents, and then, like, obviously if they're, not married and they're divorced, and you have, like, multiple then sets of parents per person. But I think that the Greek life needs to be looked at. I do. And then I think that there's a lot of moving parts with the house just seemed like disarray. I don't know who starts a year off knowing that they're only going to school until the end of December because they're going to be graduating. Like, you would have, like, roommates lined up. This was a 6-bedroom house. There was only 5 of them. I'm kind of curious why they didn't have another roommate. Obviously it's going to be cheaper, but so, like, Kaylee was already moved out. Why'd she move out? things like that. But yeah, that pic was taken during the daytime mass. Yeah, but it was posted at November 13th, 2022. I don't know when the actual picture was taken, but when it was posted online was November 13th, 2022 at 3:33 a.m. And it was posted by Dylan, who was, by all accounts, I thought in bed and sleeping. So it's not about what time the picture was taken, guys. It's about what time the picture was uploaded to the internet. And by all accounts, so what you're saying is the surviving girls, well, one of them. I only know that, Lana, you have Venmo. I would rather Venmo you so you don't get fees taken out. I have PayPal and Cash App. I don't have Venmo. I don't like people in my biz like that. Look at this. But yeah, so what I'm saying is that Dylan, by all accounts, posted back-to-back pictures at 3:33 a.m. on the night of the murders. So during the murders, or like, because they did say, guys, like, it was, for whatever reason they're going between, it was like 3 and 4 o'clock that the murders happened. I think the reason that they're going with the 3 and 4 is because they were still making phone calls up until like 2:57. So that's why my guess is that they're saying between, I guess why they could say like after 3. But by all accounts, one of the girls, now just because you're in your room, it doesn't mean that you're sleeping, okay? So we don't know what she said to the authorities. But yeah, all these, like, we went to our rooms at 1. Or like, we came home at 1. Like, we don't know everything that they said. But what it looks like to me is that these pictures were older pictures. They were taken at obviously a different time, but they were uploaded. So that means like if I was to take my phone out and be like, okay, I want to post this on, I mean, who doesn't, everyone sits in bed and does stuff on their phone. So like right now I could we did cookies today. So I could go look through and be like, oh, okay, I'm going to put a little collage together. Yeah, it doesn't matter. These pictures were taken like 5-6 hours ago, but boom, as soon as I hit send, that's going to be the timestamp that I posted them on the internet. So that would mean that I'd be awake to do that. Unless for some strange reason you would actually pre-plan to post at a certain time, which I don't even know if you could do something like at the 3:33. I think it only does it like increments of 5 minutes, but by all accounts, one of the surviving roommates was posting on the internet at 3:33, and they were pictures of these two pictures. Shelley believes that a woman is involved. Yeah. I think that, so the whole point of somebody was asking, like, they didn't understand the opening, like, 2 or 3 minute clip. I just went and looked into all the different people. And I thought it was a very weird thing to say, like, this guy, he'll rip your heart out. He'll cut your heart out. He'll cut your heart out. Like, what? Just a weird terminology. And then I went and I looked, and like a lot of these kids that go here to the school, Idaho, like they're hunters. Like this guy has a damn coyote as his profile picture with him. He's holding a damn coyote. I mean, I would barf, but he has a coyote. I mean, these are kids that use knives. And then I just don't think you can overlook that when you're talking about 4 students that were basically hunted. I think these kids were hunted. It was like prey. They were hunted. So that's just my opinion. But, you got these kids that, and then at the sorority house, you had a couple, dead carcasses out on like the doorsteps. But once I found out that the 2 girls were for sure in the same bed on the 3rd level, mind you, they knew, and whoever else they told the one girl moved out, Kaylee moved out, that means that they would have to be in the same bed because, unless she's going to sleep on the couch, but she doesn't have a bed there anymore. So they're in the same bed, right? They're on the 3rd floor. And then Xana's room is on the 2nd floor. So basically how it is that, well, before the murders happened, one person was occupying the 3rd floor because Kaylee had moved out. Then on the 2nd floor, Xana and the other bedroom open. Nobody was in that bedroom. And then on the bottom floor, the 1st floor, those were the 2 unharmed roommates. Okay? So when you want to talk about target, in my opinion, it'd be really weird. Why would you go up to the 3rd floor if your target's on the 2nd floor? Get what I'm saying? Like, did the girls on the 3rd floor hear? No, because they were found in their bed, right? Because they kind of gave that away last night, that they died together in the same bed. That's what the dad said. They died together in the same bed. Hearing that broke my heart. But I will say this, that would actually, as much as it would break my heart, that would give me comfort knowing that my daughter didn't die alone. She was with her best friend. Was the 1st floor at ground level? It was at ground level. If you guys look at the actual outdoor of the house, like those 2 windows, okay, that are when you would pull up, that's the bottom floor. But that's all that's on it. But those 2 bedrooms, like, it's like you walk in and there's just like, you go to the right, there's a room, you go to the left, there's a room, there's a bathroom, and I think that's where actually the washer dryer is as well. And then you go up in the main, the 2nd floor is where like the kitchen, the slider, 2 bedrooms, living room. And then you go up to the 3rd floor. So like the main, like the party, I would call it like the party floor. It's going to be floor 2 because that's where like your kitchen is, your slider, like, so your quietest places in the house are going to be the 1st floor and the 3rd floor, because like, so if the target was on the 2nd floor, there'd be no reason to go to the 3rd floor. Yes, unbelievable breakdown in your work is brilliant. Oh, thank you so much. That's very nice. Let's see. Shelly says, that's Kaylee, the one with Range Rover who was killed, and the other is a surviving one. When was this taken? Well, this was taken, I don't know when, but this was posted at 3:33 a.m. the night of the murders. So, and it was posted by one of the surviving roommates, Dylan. So, yeah. Now, when I listened to the mom of Ethan speak, it was the first interview that she did, and it's on this channel. So when she spoke, she said that Ethan and Xana were found in the same room. That's how she said it, that they were found in the same room. She didn't say bedroom. She said that they were found in the same room. Now, I'll go back and double check, but now could that be that they were found on, in a living room? Sure. In a bathroom? Sure, I guess. But I think everybody was found in bedrooms. That's my personal opinion. But the thing that's really, interesting is that why'd the killer stop? Why'd the killer stop? If you go into, did you go into every room? Did you go into the 2 bedrooms? Maybe they didn't know that there was bedrooms on the bottom floor. That is a possibility. But, I mean, if they know the house, they know the layout. But why'd they stop? It looks big on the outside, but it's not. Everything is so close. Yeah, like the house. Yeah. Yeah, the bedroom doors were shut. Oh, you mean like of the people that were dead? I don't know. Let's see. Oh, I made, what kind of cookies? We did sugar cookies, and then they got to, frost them all up, and then we did chocolate chip with M&M, and some cannolis, holy cannolis. So, Lisa says, I agree, Lana. This was a targeted attack. Yeah, I'm just curious as to, why'd they stop. I'm also curious to know if they cleaned up a little bit and like a sink. I think they haven't talked about it, but I'm interested to know if they took the cell phones of the victims or not. I don't know if they have them or not. There's also a chance that there was 2 people, here. Because think about it. If you know that Ethan and they're going to stay in the same room, and then you know that, Kaylee and Maddie are going to be staying in the same room. Otherwise, did you go into the other bedrooms that were not even occupied? I mean, that would be. And if that's the case, then you would have went down to the bottom, I think. But I think the crime scene will tell you that, though, if they attempted to go into the other rooms, if there was blood dripping from a knife or something. So, who is Dylan? Dylan is one of the roommates. That's her. Dylan, November 13th, 3:33 a.m. Ethan was Xana's boyfriend, and just saying, yes, they were together. Their thing is that I'm getting confirmation on this, but I believe that there was a formal. Now, I'm going to look into what fraternities and sororities were having formals that weekend. Not that this may be a reason, but did somebody stiff somebody and not go to formal with somebody? I mean, I don't think there's any reason to kill 4 people, especially like this. Nothing would merit this, But I think all the stuff that I experienced in college, and I was never into the Greek life. Athletes were their own sorority and fraternities. All the athletes hung out together. Occasionally there'd be some sorority girls coming to the baseball parties or something like that, but we really weren't going over to the Greek houses either. But yeah, I mean, obviously heavy drinking goes on. these initiations. If you look at a map where their house is and where the Sigma house is it's right across the street. That's an easy walk. I'm just shocked that everyone doesn't have Ring cameras. In college, how do you not have a Ring camera? Everyone's so close to everybody. Like, I don't know, we didn't have them when I was in college only because they didn't offer them yet, or we would have had them. That's a really good question as far as where they were. I think it's, hey, where were the other two roommates? I mean, their timeline, I mean, they have to have this down pat. There should be a paper trail for all 6 of them, or however many there are. Literally from, I would even go back to the weekend before. And like I said, like, when you want to say what was going on that was different in their lives, well, a lot. The one girl was moving out. So she didn't even stay there anymore. She had just bought a Range Rover. She's getting ready to go backpacking through Europe. She just took a job in Texas. She wasn't with her boyfriend, but her parents said that she was getting back, you know. And then you got, you know, another person. Is their boyfriend like a current boyfriend, or was it an ex-boyfriend? What about these other people's phones? Besides just what Maddie and Kaylee, did somebody get in a fight at the frat party? They said they left at 1 a.m. It doesn't take 45 minutes to get home. To be home at 1:45 from the SIG house. I'm sorry, that just doesn't take how long. It doesn't take that long to get. It's right there, like literally right there. You know, yeah, they're keeping things close. I mean, I know that it was Parents' Weekend the weekend before. So like, that's the other thing that's so sad is you have everyone's parents in town for Parents' Weekend, okay? And literally the weekend after Parents' Weekend, this happens. Like, what? Also, frats are very protective of their... Yeah, no one's talking, but... I mean, obviously, they're going to have to talk to the police. But yeah, it's... You guys, they're deleting all of their social media stuff. Come on. And I just wish I hope the police are saying, like, we don't care about your underage drinking. Okay, because there was only 2 people in that house that were of age, I believe, to even be drinking. So, you're going to have to tell your fraternities and sororities... All these people need to know, like, listen, we don't care about your drinking. So we want all your pictures, selfies, anything. We want to know who all the people were around these people all night. But you're going to have to, like, tell them we don't care about underage drinking because they were all doing it. Now, how they're going to feel about, like, drugs and stuff like that, because you guys, there was drugs. Go read the 911 log. Every other call is about drugs. You got a girl basically ODing in her car and moaning and acting like, I don't even know. And no offense, but if people think that drugs, you know, nobody wants to think that their kid's doing, but people go to college and they experiment with a lot of things. They experiment with sexuality, they experiment with drugs, just like they experiment with their, you know, what they want to be. Like, they're still trying to figure out what major they want to be. But I think that if you want to catch who did this, everybody needs to just be honest with themselves and with the situation, whatever that may be. But the more I look at this, I think that this is somebody that they don't think highly of women. Like, you throw like a girl type of attitude. Somebody that gets slighted. Somebody that gets slighted and they don't think that they should. Like, I'm cooler than him. Like, what do you mean? My guess is an online stalker finally pulled the trigger. And you guys, who's to say that, like, this person really thought that they were not going to get caught versus, like, wow, I can't believe that I haven't gotten caught yet type of thing. You know, whoever did this has a I don't give a fuck attitude. You don't just, you know, wait till everybody's at home in their beds, especially a party house like that. Like, you had to wait a little bit. And then, you know, go in and then just walk right out. No cameras, no nothing. I think it's not even that so much that they're going to be witnesses, more so like it was going to be like, we want you to turn over your photos, and there's going to be photos of, like, you know, we just want to see who's in the backgrounds of these pictures. We want to see who was around them. You know, who maybe got kicked out of a party that they had at their house in the past, you know, month or two. Now a sixth person was on the lease. Well, I always said there were 6 bedrooms. Like, what's going on? I've always said, like, who rents a place that has 6 bedrooms and wants to pay extra money? No, you just get a 6th roommate. And then I said, well, if Kaylee's leaving, now you only have 4 people, you know? So, and normally they make you put everybody on the lease. But like I said, I already pulled all that information, and not a single person, not one of them, has their name on that house. Meaning, like, I don't think they get their mail there. I could be wrong, but no public records of them living there. So, like, and you do that in college. Like, you just have your home address wherever you're from as your address. Oh my God, Lena, no one is understanding this 4 people thing. What do you mean? I heard that the other child was kicked out because of something. Yeah. I feel like that the parents and Kaylee's sister, I think that they have a couple things, and they're just waiting to put it out there. They're gonna give law enforcement a little bit of time, because I can just tell, like, the sister wants to say some stuff. You can tell. And if you listen to her interview when the other roommates were brought up, oh boy, you know. And she admits it. She's like, I know, you know, Kaylee and Maddie. I don't know Xana or Ethan. I don't know that. So think about that. When I heard that, I was actually kind of shocked, because I want to know when. I thought they were living there a little bit longer. If this was like their first year living there all together, that's interesting to me. Could it be that they were living in their sorority houses before that? I don't know. But the sister seemed to only know her sister and her friend. That's like a sister to her. She didn't know anybody else. If my sister would have been interviewed in a situation like that, she would have known. I had the same roommates my whole career, except for freshman year, when they, like, put you in your own, you know, they pair you up with whoever they want. If you're an athlete, you go with athletes, and I was. So I was living with a volleyball chick my first year. But my sister would be able to tell you, like, you know, who my roommates were, and I mean, the relationships that I had with them. She was, she was in college at the same time, so she was at her college. But my sister would never be like, oh, I have no idea who those other people are. Like, that would never come out of her mouth. So that was interesting to me. Jamie says they gotta look through all their stuff. I've gotten death threats back in the day. Yeah, oh yeah, I've gotten death threats too. Charles says he thinks he's limp. Probably. Well, he's about to be when he's caught too. The connection between all of them is Xana and Maddie. Yeah, they were the ones that worked at the Greek restaurant, but also they were, something I thought was interesting is that Kaylee and Maddie, they were actually in different sororities. I thought that was interesting that they picked different sororities. They do everything together. I'm just shocked that they didn't rush the same sorority. Like, that was blew my mind. Yeah, I'd be taking my sister's cell phone bill, and I'd be calling up those other roommates until the cop said, hey, you need to leave them alone. That's exactly what I would be doing. I'm curious to know how long Ethan and Xana were dating. Something that her dad said that was really, really interesting to me for Xana was that, she was, she had a life, because before, I think he questioned her responsibility, maybe, in his eyes, she had turned the corner, more or less. And I think that, I'm not saying that there's anything bad with that at all. But I'm just curious to know what she was, if she was into anything before, if it was more just you're becoming a woman type thing. Let's see. Does anybody else get the feeling that these, a lot of these families have money? Because I do. If his face was covered like one of the witnesses said, does that mean that they guessed his face for the sketches? Did they give a sketch? Well, that's not how our house was rented, Jane, in college. Our house, so that's not you're not renting that out by the room. You're renting that house out, just here's this house, it's $2,500. Okay. And then, you have your 6 people, you take 6 and you divide it by, $2,500. So for me, in college, what was ours? We had a 4-bedroom. What was technically 6, but it was divided the way that it was. So it was $1,000 a month for our 4-bedroom. So we all paid $250 a month. And then he upped it in our last year to $1,200. And we were like, what the hell, Jerry? I mean, we had a steal. It was $250 a month. But yeah, it was we sent in one check and all of us, paid the one person. But yeah, no, how we had to do, that's not how ours was at all. Was said 1,000 a floor on the renting site. What? Was it 1,000 a floor on the renting site? You gotta be shitting me. Well, who rents places like that? Well, no wonder why people are dead. Jesus. A bunch of randoms living together. Wait, you gotta be kidding me, right? Jeez. Now that's just ridiculous. Yeah, I thought the place was $2,500. You are incorrect. I'm telling you how I lived in college, and it was just a college house, and it was $1,200. It was $1,000, and then they upped it my last year, and so each of us went from paying $250 to paying $300 or something like that. So I can only just tell you how I did mine, and we definitely did not rent out a room. But longer ago, Greg, you're over here dating ourselves, Greg. I feel you. Yeah, that's why you go and you hey, we're going to go rent out this 4-bedroom house. Well, we need 4 roommates. I mean, you don't need 4 roommates, but you're going to pay more money. So you're, now if you own an apartment complex, it's there's 8 1-bedroom apartments that have their own kitchen and their own bathroom. And but yeah, I've never seen a house that you have individual tenants per the one house. How do you get away with that? To me seems really unsafe. Well, I would not live in a place that was any other way than me knowing the people that I'm living with and that I'm choosing to be sharing a house with. That's just crazy. So, yep, we all pooled the money. Yep. And then you go and get I don't know, people did money orders too. Each floor has to have an exit in order to rent it like that. That's just crazy. Oh, well, I'm not arguing. I'm just telling you how we did it. And I just know that I would never pay for a room, Jane, that I didn't, out of a house, that's a Craigslist thing. Hey, I'm looking for a roommate. I have a 2-bedroom, but the same thing would still apply, though. We would both be on the same, on that lease. Yeah, the 3rd floor doesn't have an exit. Have a good night, Ryan. It is a mess. I will give you that. This case is definitely a mess. But I'll tell you what, these social media is the way to. I would be locking down anybody that's deleting this stuff. Come on. Why are you deleting social media? What do you have on there that, and I could see that 330 thing getting, if it had nothing to do with it, and all these people are coming at you and whatnot, but it just doesn't look good. Shelley says, he was supplying drugs and felt used because he would give them drugs but not interested in him sexually, and it made him feel rejected. I don't think this was sexually motivated. This was somebody that was pissed. I just don't think it was because of rejection. like what all 4 of them, rejected them sexually. Or like that they embarrassed this person. That's what I'm trying to say. Was there like, did somebody get thrown out of their, like, did they have a party and, maybe the person didn't plan on killing all 4. Plan on just going up to the top floor and, since Kaylee got that new Range Rover, maybe the person didn't even think that was their vehicle. So it was just for the 3rd floor. But I don't know why you would go up to the 3rd floor unless you are targeting the 3rd floor. Then you'd have to know like what type of people they are. Like if they heard a noise, would they come out of their bedrooms but see that they were found in their bedroom? But that doesn't mean that they weren't like taken down. Like if they were, if they came out of a room to check on something, that they weren't like grabbed and thrown back into that room and shut the door and then like killed the 2 people and went on. But Xana's dad talking about all these bruises. I'm interested in that. I'm interested in the toxicology. I mean, if you guys watch the truck, the video, I mean, they were very drunk. They were very drunk. I would like to know where the food was. Was it, did they eat the food? Was it downstairs? Was it, upstairs? And it was actually a Range Rover. It was not a Land Rover, so it's even more expensive. But I looked it up, that one price. There is one over there. I believe it was a used, like, after, like, somebody got done with, like, a lease. Still going to be expensive, but... They were ripped. Was there pineapple in their stomachs? What? I know that she got a new job, but I was thinking about this. So you get this job because it's an internship. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Kaylee... so she's graduating in December... basically at the end of the semester. And then she was taking a job, though, in January in Texas. When was she going to Europe to go backpacking? Also, call me crazy, but what kind of majors were they doing? I don't know how much Idaho costs, but a general studies degree. What's going on? I don't even know how you get that anymore. It was a 2016 Range Rover. Yes. I would never buy a 2016 Range Rover in 2022, about to be 2023. I mean, that's an older vehicle. And you saw her parents. They bought the car. Well, they said that she bought it, but maybe somebody else bought it. Also, is it really bought or is it leased? I mean, and then, okay, I gotta say this too. What in the hell are they doing? They waited 14 days, 16 days before then they towed all the vehicles to then be like scoured for. They just left these vehicles just sitting there. I've never heard of such. I just can't believe it. They took the roommates' vehicles too, the surviving roommates' vehicles too. You think the roommates are going to school? Yeah, $1,000 per headlights. But yeah, they're super expensive to fix. I can't believe that they let those vehicles just sit out there. Like, I mean, why? they didn't go in those vehicles for all that time. I mean, what the fuck are they doing? I mean, what if there was something in one of those vehicles? Wow, it just blows my mind. No, roommates are not going to school. Chicka says, well, they said they had police out there 24/7 since it happened. I understand that, but you'd want to get into those vehicles, you would think. Yes, her mom did say that she bought the Range Rover and that she had saved up and that she had worked a bunch. Well, I don't know where she worked. But I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if I would tell my mom I bought it too, and if I didn't. Because I could still be on, somebody could have given me the money for the down payment, and then I just have, pay my payments. Yes, Kaylee did have an OnlyFans. Wow, they just announced neighbor Jeremy just submitted DNA. News Nation on YouTube. Well, because they think he had a weird interview. Maybe he did it on his own, so people could leave him alone. Yeah, Chris McDuck. Yeah, sounds good, buddy. Oh, thank the Lord they finally let Jeremy give his damn DNA. Yeah. No, because he begged them. He begged them to give his DNA. Well, probably because he was like, these people think I'm... All these people are talking about me on YouTube, man. I gotta give up my DNA. How old is Jeremy? Not old enough. Yeah, he wanted it done. Yeah, I would too if I was getting hounded. I mean, how bad... This should just tell you how bad YouTube is. Jared didn't have his hearing because people were live streaming and didn't mute. I mean, I don't care who did it, but like, why are they even giving out that? Why are they even giving out the code? I don't understand. I didn't know that. You guys, I'm going to start submitting into Delphi. Hey, I want the next hearing. I expect to have the code to be able to zoom in and let me live stream. They asked him, he said sure. They dropped it, so he had to chase them down to submit. Jeremy, get over here. Per Jeremy. Poor guy's been harassing his family, friends. He's in law. Yeah. I know what it is. Yeah, the law students over there just playing Jack the Ripper. No, I don't think it's him. Jeremy is responding with overexposure by oversaturating. Not the worst strategy. I don't think it's him. Yeah, Jeremy is in law school. Okay, do you guys... How many of you guys, don't be bashful, but how many of you guys have subscribed to, this is Jonathan Lee, Rich Investigates. Wait, what's his name? Jonathan Lee, Rich's Investigates. I'm standing outside here in the wilderness. 4 college students brutally killers 14 to 20. Okay, Lana, he is the new Dave. Jonathan Lee just investigates. Just because I'm gonna throw his little thing up here. Yeah, right. I mean, I just JLR. Oh, God. I wrote in once and I said, hey, make sure the next time you do your video, you catch yourself on the left side versus the right side. Because he always does like the same side when he goes live. Like, that's his good side. So I was just messing with him. I love his constant posts with the same intro. Oh, God, yeah. I mess with him. That little thing, he's just coming in from the left side. I'm like, come on, you gotta go on the right side. You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you do. I bought some merchandise. You need to get that hat. Media. Get the hat. Jonathan Lee, Richard Investigates. It's the same. It's like, I'm like, what's he gonna... Every 3 hours. Oh, they finally made an ID on the 4th serial killer victim by my house. Oh, geez. Make sure you lock up there, Charles. Oh, my gosh. Does it say press? No. In case you guys don't know, I think everybody should get a little... Let's see. Close out with this. I'll be like, yeah, I'm giving you a nice plug. Let's see. Here you go. Enter night right.
New information, everyone, in regards to the Moscow, Idaho tragedy where 4 innocent people were stabbed inside a home during the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022.
I gotta get the beginning.
Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates. I have some new information, everyone, in regards to the Moscow, Idaho tragedy where 4 innocent people were stabbed inside a home during the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022. The new information that I have is the mother of Xana, one of the victims. The mother of Xana. It looks like the mother of Xana could possibly been released from jail. I reported last week that the mother of Xana was arrested just 6 days after the murders happened. On the 19th of November, Xana's mother, Kara Carnoodle, was picked up on drug charges in Cooney or Kootenai County. I can't say that county right. Kootenei. In that sense, that county. I'm sorry if I not pronounced that right. Xana's mom is in the county
This is just
jail
public information, guys.
more. She was booked in there for drug charges.
So, just so you guys
Looks
know,
like
she's free.
Pick her up. I know that yesterday at the vigil,
You better feed that plant.
Xana's family is the only family that wasn't there. The 3 other victims' families were there. Nobody with Xana.
Oh, God. All right, guys. As always, you guys rock. You guys rock. Although, well, I only go for good tubers, and I have enough. Want to laugh? Deadbug says what? Sorry. Why does he talk like that? He is a noodle. Oh, he cracks me up. All right, guys. You guys take care. Until next time, be kind to one another. Again, thank you guys, mods, subscribers, members. Yep, consider being a member. You guys always rock. So, Yep, again, until next time.
Today is not a day to celebrate, but the arrest of Richard M. Allen of Delphi on 2 counts of murder is sure a major step in leading to the conclusion of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation.